I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. INEC discontinues recognition of David Mark as ADC chairman. Recognizes somebody else. I mentioned this thing over 1 year ago as one of the reasons why Peter Obi should leave the ADC. I hate being right in these kind of circumstances. But then again, I told you, Peter Obi, you have 20 days to go. 20 days. These can blow past. This Zamfaralization of Peter Obi in the ADC can blow past. I said it about the Labour Party, and I said it about the ADC. Why did INEC recognize another party? What's the guy's name now? Let me try to get this in. Nafiu Bala. Why did INEC recognize or choose to recognize Nafiu Bala as the legitimate chairman of the ADC? Why? Why? Now, Kenneth Okonkwo has given an interview on this. Nafiu Bala's aide has given an interview on this. Both of them are pushing opposite arguments, each claiming they are right. But let's look at the facts on the ground. Ralph Nwosu was chairman of ADC. And then Ralph Nwosu decided to resign and hand over the party to the coalition, to David Mark and Rauf Aregbesola. We all saw the ceremony. From the interview of Kenneth Okonkwo, you see that, or he is claiming that he saw resignation letters. And the resignation letters were signed by all the National Working Committee members. And based on the resignation letters and the dissolution of the NWC of the ADC under Ralph Nwosu, they proceeded to form a new National Working Committee led by David Mark. Now here is the problem. Here is where I sensed the problem from over a year ago. If you saw a resignation letter signed by Nafiu Bala, and today Nafiu Bala is coming to tell you that that signature is not his own, that signature was forged, what are you doing to verify that claim? Is it possible that truly that signature was forged? Because if that signature was forged, it invalidates the entire process of handing over the party to David Mark. Let's be honest. We can choose to be sentimental, but sentiments have no place in law. You might say, oh, it is Tinubu or the APC trying to silence the opposition. But here's the thing. Is it the Tinubu administration or the APC that we will blame if the ADC did not follow the proper channels to take over the ADC? Peter Obi once gave an interview and then he said that for somebody to be called excellency, the process that brought him to power must be excellent. The process that brought David Mark to become the chairman of the ADC, was it an excellent process? We can find out if it is by looking at the constitution of the ADC as at when David Mark took over. Now, when a chairman resigns, what is the process prescribed by the constitution of a political party? Now, because many of you will argue now and say, oh, the leadership of a party is the internal democracy of the party. Yes, it is. But that internal affairs of the party must follow the constitution of the party. Now, what does the constitution say when a chairman resigns? Does it say that the chairman has the power to hand over that party to another chairman single-handedly, or even with some of his NWC members? Is that what the constitution of the ADC prescribes? The answer is no. The answer is, if the national chairman resigns, the deputy national chairman from the zone of the chairman takes over as acting chairman, pending when a national convention is conducted to elect a substantive chairman. Was that process followed? You and I have the answer to that. No. Somehow, Ralph Nwosu chose to single-handedly do what he did. Maybe with the support of some of the NWC members, maybe not. But now that you have Nafiu Bala coming out to say, oh, that resignation letter that you guys are parading is forged, it destroys the whole transition. If it is established that truly that resignation letter was forged, then it means that the person who is supposed to be acting national chairman was disenfranchised. Now, I know the coalition is good. The coalition is good. If the coalition want to do coalition, there's still time. Look for another party that is devoid of all these shenanigans and make sure you do things right. For me, Peter Obi, 20 days to go. There is the DLA, Democratic Leadership Alliance, a party that is registered by some people that includes Professor Okonkwo, a very ardent supporter of Mr. Peter Obi. Please, go to DLA. If DLA no work, I said it. You are better off in a coalition with Showore than with the people in the ADC. But then again, what do I know? I'm just one Nigerian who is not even a politician, who is just seeking a better country. I'm just one Nigerian who has seen life abroad and believe that life in Nigeria can be better. It can be. Those of you around Peter will be advising him. It is possible that you will go your way through, but that resignation letter, if truly that signature was forged, you have no case. You can go to INEC office and protest. It will be a useless protest because emotions have no place in law. Now, even if, and here's one of my prophecies again, by some stroke of miracle, you are even able to get INEC to recognize David Mark again. You have the entry of Kwankwanso into the ADC. Many people are thinking that, okay, he's coming to ADC to support Peter Obi. In fact, that with the support of Kwankwanso, Peter Obi will be able to defeat Atiku in ADC primaries. The large crowd of Kwankwasia movement members that we saw, in fact, is giving joy to many obedient, and they're just jumping to conclusion that with that number alone, you will have enough people to counter Atiku's numbers in the north. And that will give the edge to Peter Obi. Then Kwankwanso will now be vice president to Peter Obi because Obasanjo has talked to Kwankwanso to accept one term of vice presidency, blah, 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 under Peter Obi, so that in 2031, when he goes back to the north, Kwankwanso can then be supported to become president. That's a very big assumption to place the whole hopes of Nigeria on. Very big. Who told you that Kwankwanso is not interested in running for president himself? Who told you that? And who told you that Kwankwanso, even if he accepts to be vice president, who told you that Kwankwanso will not support Atiku? Have you heard the narration of Wiki? So please, for me, Peter Obi has a better chance leaving the ADC now. What he needs is a coalition of the people, not a coalition of politicians that are disgruntled, politicians that are partly responsible for the problems that Nigeria is in. Many Nigerian supporters of Peter Obi obedience struggle with this on a daily basis. And then you now have this issue with ADC. I beg, a word is enough for the wise. 20 days to go, there's still enough time to move. If you don't, I pray that they don't zamfaralize the ADC ticket, and I pray that Peter Obi gets the ticket eventually, even though the chances of that happening is very, very slim.
Now, let me tell you, APC wants one party state, and they want it very, very fiercely because they don't want Tinubu to go in for election in 2027. And now that they have seen that Nigerians have chosen ADC as the vehicle for the campaign, you can see it. Atiku, Obi, Kwankwanso, these were the people. Yes, Amechi did not contest in 2022. Analyzing the 2023 election, Atiku, Obi, Kwankwanso, these were the major presidential candidates with Tinubu. So these three now, being in one party, Tinubu understands, APC understands what it means, and they are becoming very frenetic. They are becoming very jittery completely. So their assignment now is to destroy ADC. I can tell you on good authority that Professor Josh Amepito is under pressure now to deregister ADC. Why do I say that? There was this chambers that wrote to INEC on the 16th of March that they should de-recognize David Mark leadership. Now, the INEC does not have the right by law to de-recognize anybody that is in their portal. It has to be the court. And when they saw that INEC treated their letter for what it is, nonsense, they now, conniving with APC, they now went and wrote another letter to INEC, threatening to arrest the INEC chairman. As a lawyer, INEC is a party to the case, so you don't even need to tell INEC what to do. He went to trial court to say, no, deregister David Mark. I am the national chairman. Who made you national chairman? Which convention? Which National Executive Committee met? Which NWC met? 1.5 Gombe. How do you become national chairman? So if I proclaim myself president now of Nigeria, they'll start calling me factional president. Is that
factional president of Nigeria?
That's what it means.
Because that's the implication.
That's the implication.
That's the inference that can be drawn from this.
So does it mean constitutions do not, that parties do not have constitutions anymore? That one person, we experienced it during when we were in level. Yes. One Apapa, absolutely. They went to court, good, and they said they used ex parte motion. At the end of the day, where did they end? The people disgraced them openly at the Court of Appeal. Because I'm advising that nephew, he knows he's being used. Now, he resigned in his own handwriting. The resignation letter is there. Ralph Mosu is the former chairman of ADC. He resigned and gave Ralph Mosu his resignation letter. And he said the reason is to make way for a smooth and very clean coalition. You know, smooth and effective coalition and restructuring. So he knew what he was doing. They wanted to restructure ADC to make it very pleasing to Nigerians to choose. This is the nephew Gombe. He's not the national chairman, he has never been. He's the national deputy chairman and national deputy chairman for inter-party affairs in the ADC constitution. The national deputy chairman, there are 6. So it's function based, not section based. So you don't have
another political party.
Yes, it's function based. Now you have the national deputy chairman politics. That's the one that succeeds the chairman and presides. The chairman is not there. So ADC as a body, the NWC, agreed and dissolved itself by a resolution for which the nephew signed his resignation letter. His resignation letter was dated 17th May 2025. He signed in his own handwriting 18th May 2025. And the resignation letter took effect on 26th May 2025. Now, after resigning, check the time he filed the first case. After the unveiling, after everything, we were unveiled July 2nd. He didn't do anything. Because when INEC now wanted to recognize the party, then that's when he remembered. Under which government? So, APC now wants to use him. The trial court has not even deliberated on the matter. The Court of Appeal, David Mark went to the Court of Appeal to let the Court of Appeal know that they don't even need to deliberate on the matter. The Court of Appeal said no, there is a procedural error. What you want to appeal against is an interlocutory order which has not even been given. So 1, you need leave of the Court of Appeal for you to bring an appeal against an interlocutory order. And 2, the interlocutory order has not even been given.
So
go back to the trial court. Let the trial court decide on it so that you will have even something to appeal on. And then these people, I don't want to use cussing words, are going about saying, because the Court of Appeal say go back to status quo, that the status quo means that national chairman is no longer national chairman. Meanwhile, nobody ever made you national chairman. So you see how APC wants to use the judiciary and wants to use these charlatans, meddlesome interlopers. He has been expelled from the party like they used in PDP. We were all here when people openly declared that they have left PDP in Rivers State, and judiciary by any kind of abracadabra said they have not resigned when they read their own resignation on the floor of the House of Assembly. So the threat is real that APC wants to use the lawyers, use the judiciary. Why am I saying they want to use the judiciary? I gave you the example of what happened in El-Rufai's case, because as far as I'm concerned, it is the incarceration of El-Rufai that killed his mother. You know, when mothers get to that age, they are so sentimental, they become so emotional. Let me tell you, somebody told my mother that thieves stole from some of his children houses. My mother felt so bad that they had to call preachers to come and start preaching to her that nothing is wrong. I want you to understand. Then you can imagine an aged woman of 90-something years that you're telling that they are arresting the son. Some people might even go and tell the son has died in prison. It happened.
So she might actually even think
on her own.
Yeah,
because at that age, they said they don't want to tell me they have killed my son. That is what killed her. In my own opinion. And now, when the woman died, crying over spilled milk, that's when they remember they will, without court order, release El-Rufai. Meaning they are the ones using the judiciary and the purported order. Because you cannot disobey the order of the court. If you have respect for the court, it is only the court that can amend, vary its order. But this government went and released El-Rufai, exposing to the whole world that they are using the judiciary. So that is why democracy is in peril, because they want to use the judiciary, use people like Nafiu Bala, when I was in one media house, they said that Nafiu Bala claimed that he was forced to resign. Now, one of his aides came and claimed that it was fake. So which one are we going to agree on? If you want to challenge such a thing in court, you don't use originating summons. You use writ of summons. Where the issues are debatable. So APC now, knowing that ADC has come to stay, they want to use every means, including intimidating INEC. I can tell you that Joyce Omipota has been threatened that if he doesn't deregister ADC, he should resign.
Is this rumor or you have evidence to this?
They wrote the first letter, 16th March. He ignored it as he should be. No, the lawyers.
Okay, the lawyers for
Potting, yes.
For Nafi,
telling INEC chairman that he should David Mark and register them as who? By which convention? which NWC of ADC sat or NEC to make you chairman. Isn't it ridiculous? And they wrote that to INEC chairman and he ignored it for what it's supposed to be. And after that, they wrote another one saying they will arrest him. Is it not the government that arrests? Yes. They will arrest him.
Like they have their own private police or something.
Like they have their own private police. But it is the government that arrests, saying that they will bring contempt of court. What are you waiting for? They should go to the court and not threaten him by section 158 and section 160 of the Constitution. INEC is independent in everything it's done.
Let me ask you directly and give me a straightforward answer. Nigerians are interested. Who is behind all of this coordinated,
yes,
orchestrated,
yes,
some would even allege?
Yes.
Don't forget, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar said there's a coordinated, concerted effort,
yes,
to destabilize the ADC.
Yes.
So who is behind all of this?
In my own opinion, APC. And my reason is clear. They did it in PDP. They appointed Wike as minister. And Wike started working for them. Wike doesn't hide it.
Confirmed by Sheyi Makinde, no less a person that the government.
Sheyi Makinde said, Wike said they are not going to produce presidential candidate. They are going to adopt President Tinubu. What other example do you want? In Labour Party, I told you how they used good and all those words simply to destabilize. So PDP is now in their pocket. ADC is the only opposition. What interest does any other person have to destabilize ADC? It is only APC that has interest to destabilize it because there is no internal crisis.
Yeah, I was going to come. That's the next question. Some are alleging that it is internal crisis. Sorry, Barrister. In Edo State, when there was this attack at the home of former Governor John Odigi Oyego, Peter Obi was there, some other bigwigs, ADC bigwigs were there, and there were gunshots at the gates. You know, the governor, Monday Okpebholo, came out to say, "Oh, it is this disgruntled elements of the ADC within the ADC that it is infighting." So that's what I'm asking: who is behind this coordinated?
Now, recall that when that assassination attempt took place, I came on television to say these assassination attempts.
I saw it.
Why have they not proved me wrong by arresting the people that are involved? 10 unmarked vehicles.
And parade them.
Good. Went to the secretariat of ADC. After shooting them, they chased them down to Oyegu's house. Oyegu's house is near the state house. Until today, you've not made any arrest. You know what the president of El Salvador said? If the state does not deal with insecurity, the state is complicit. It is the duty of the state that has the monopoly of force to secure life and property. So if a thing happens like this and nobody is arrested, it is the state. I have the right to say my own opinion. Especially when it was in the day, complete in the daylight, where everybody sees everybody. And then 10 unmarked vehicles going through the street of Beni, close to the state house, and after operating, nobody till today has arrested anybody. I met the elderly Senator Roland Owe. I met him in the NEC meeting, and I jokingly asked him, "Okay, why do you want to kill us now?" He laughed. A very religious man. He said something that made me to start crying. He said, "Young man, Kenneth, thank you for what you're doing in Nigeria." He said, "Because of you, I named one of my children Kenneth, because I want to see in him the things I'm seeing in you." Do you think such a man would have any need to go and do anything against his own party? Any man that wants to conspire against his party will not come out openly and tell you, "I disagree with this," if he disagrees with anything. They were all together when they were taken away from the secretariat because of people coming to attack them. And they went to the residence of John Odigi Oyego. Pleasant religious man. He was the one who led us in prayer. There is nothing like internal crisis in Edo. That governor, I've always said that even his party APC regards him as insignificant. Was it not in the convention of APC that the chairman of APC was saying that we are being treated as insignificant people, that they were left in overflow? The delegation needs a governor that wears cap, Tinubu's cap, and has ordered everybody to be wearing Tinubu's cap. Overflow governor. Overflow APC. That's where they put them. And you know what? It's because they know that's where their capacity is. So the APC is not even recognizing them as important. This is the chairman of APC saying, no, not me. That why would they treat them as they are unimportant? You know what he said? He said they have promised Tinubu 3.5 million votes from Edo. The population of Edo as a whole is about 2.something million. The last election, all the total people that voted were not up to a million. But they are promising Tinubu 3.5 million. Do such people appear to you as people that have sense? No, by this arithmetic, I'm not talking. Look, I am not talking legalistically. I'm not talking grammatically. I'm talking arithmetically. Say 3.5 million to Tinubu. Is there no end to psychophancy? Must you expose that you are empty in the head in order to be a psychophant? 3.5 million. They are promising Tinubu.
Maybe new people have come into Edo and new people have entered register. But let's make progress on this. So this Nafiu Ali Gombe saga. What's the state of play now? What's the state of play?
The state of play is that they want to do everything possible to use extrajudicial means to see whether they can remove the executives of ADC.
NWC, you mean?
NWC, yes. The national executive of ADC, yes. To plant the nephew
and his crew.
And his crew that were not voted in any convention or NEC or any NWC missing. That is what they are planning. And they are planning to see whether you heard about one association of retired House of Representatives members or something that say they went to court to deregister ADC. Just look at such charlatanic cases.
This brings
So
us
they
to
want to destabilize
the
ADC.
Now, this brings up this point.
Yes.
Nigerians would
So Nigerians should know that if anything happens to ADC, then there is no election in 2027.
Yeah, brilliant. So Nigerians would like to know, and they will not forgive me if I don't ask you this pointedly.
Fine.
Why is the APC afraid of competition
Yes.
in 2027?
Because democracy is not the government of the judiciary, it's not the government of the governors,
Yes.
it's not the government of ICPC or EFCC
Or the police?
or the police, it's the government of the people. And they don't have the people. And they have this inkling that the people are willing to defend their mandate from what they have experienced. They know that no citizen in the whole world will agree to pay 1,400 naira per liter of fuel when this government met it at about 195 naira per liter. They know that no citizen will pay such huge transportation costs to go to the cubicle to vote for Tinubu. They know that, like I gave you the statistics, 34 states has witnessed 137 terrorist attacks within 4 weeks, 1 month. They know that nobody in his right senses will go to vote for Tinubu and APC, having these statistics. So they know that people who were paying 500 naira, dollar to a naira, they are now paying 1,400. They know that a government that is offering them no security, no power. As you can see, there's no power here. You can see my neighbors now, they are going on solar. Everybody's building solar. And yet, you have borrowed more than any other government, any other president. No security, no power. And Nigeria is now the most indebted country under a regime. All other governments put together from 1960 has not borrowed what Tinubu has borrowed in 2 years plus.
And counting anyway.
And just yesterday, $6 billion within 3.5 hours.
6 billion, not
Dollars.
billion.
Dollars. That's about 9 trillion naira
Yeah.
or 10 trillion naira. So you know what? What is he doing with the money? He said if he removes subsidy, he will use the money he saved to repair Nigeria. He removes subsidy. All the things he's saving, what is he using it for? 15 trillion naira Lagos Calabar express route for his family business. What is he using it for? Nothing except ostentatious living. More than 40 billion naira to travel abroad and back. So what is he using it for? So our debt now has reached 195 trillion and counting. Within 3 years, he met 77 trillion debt. Look at the difference. So Nigerians know they cannot survive another term of Tinubu. That's why they are scared. By giving a chance, Nigerians will not only vote them out, but protect their votes. Tinubu is gone. I said it the other time that even if he comes unopposed, he will lose. Because nobody will go to that polling unit to vote yes to be killed by terrorists. Nobody will go to vote yes to pay for a liter of fuel 1,400 official. Nobody will do that.
You mentioned some while ago that in the 2026 Electoral Act amended, that was just hurriedly signed by the president.
For the first time, they passed it on the 17th of February.
Yes.
The president signed it on the 18th.
Meanwhile, it was meant to be studied and advised
Absolutely.
by the Attorney General of the President or the Federation,
Yes.
who is the Chief Law Officer.
Yes.
INEC is meant to study it.
Yes.
And make contribution also. Different stakeholders are meant to do all of that, but none of that was done. And this is a 100-page document thereabouts, Anyway, so they passed it. But you said there were some clauses that were inserted, allegedly, I must add, by the APC to make sure political parties do not have proper leg to stand on.
All right.
In like 1 or 2 minutes, because we're running out of time, and they're still. What are some of these clauses?
Good. I don't want to use the word inserted.
Okay.
Because till now, I don't know whether anybody has seen the gazetted copy.
Exactly.
So we are operating under unknown law, which is against rule of law, because laws must be publicly published.
Absolutely.
I don't know what they are keeping, because once a law is passed by National Assembly, it's gazetted. So I cannot say inserted. No, that's not my word.
Okay.
I said APC muzzled itself through by making provisions and amendment that is injurious to the democratic of Nigeria. The democratic evolution. Democracy is about choices. So any government or law that is limiting choices rather than widening choices is anti-democratic. Why remove indirect primary from parties? Because the old law did not say they should not do direct primaries. They say you have the option. Now, are you calling what happened in the PDP convention, the APC convention? It is only the opposition party that you can say that they can do consensus, because they know that they are period. They know that they are not as many. They don't have resources to even debate. A ruling party can imagine if I telling you everybody was returned unopposed. Is that democratic? Single nomination form for every post. Is that democratic? So I want you to understand what I am saying. That the Electoral Act, the reason Mike Guinness says the worst, is that it is rather anti-democratic rather than deepening democracy. What is the proviso in the electronic transmission of results? They say with the proviso that if there is a communication failure, you resort to the manual.
Yes.
What is the electronic we're talking about? The electronic is simply the manual preserved so that integrity will not be hampered. So what are you saying you're resorting back to the manual? Did we ever say you should resort back to the electronic? What we said is use the electronic to upload the scanned copy of that manual on iRep portal, which you don't need communication to do. You have your phone. If you snap me now, my picture drops into your gallery. That's how beavers work. Whether it is online or offline, it has no business with that. And you can upload my picture on anybody that is on your WhatsApp, even when there's no network. Then when network comes in, the picture downloads. This is what Professor Yakubu explained. So how on earth will somebody put that proviso, if not with an intention to manipulate election? Because it's useless. Because there's no way network will affect your uploading, because Beavers is used offline. The same Beavers that is used for accreditation offline, and there is no problem. That's an electronic process. The same Beavers is, you need network to snap. The camera there is inbuilt. So that proviso is useless. The only value for it is to allow APC to rig election, so that when they go to court, they will tell courts that the law gave them chance to use the manual. That's all. So any presiding officer that is telling you cannot upload, then the process is rig and die.
Okay, so
he is trying to conduct a civilian coup against the will of the people, and the people there in the station have the right to use reasonable force to compel him to upload it, because he doesn't need network. So any presiding officer that tells you he can't upload it, he wants to rig your election. According to Professor Mahmoud, with all his technical glitch.
Even that by the NCC.
NCC said it. Nigerian Society of Engineers said it. So what authority is the presiding officer giving you that there is network failure that will make him not upload? Upload a picture. So nobody should give us that. That provision is worthless and useless in law. And any court of law that knows what they're doing will say that this provision is worthless and useless.
No. With all of this.
So what we have now is that the main clause of 60, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act he said you must compulsorily transmit electronically. That is the law we have. The proviso, there's nothing like proviso.
But there's a proviso.
That's what I said.
Yes.
I've analyzed it to you. That is, the proviso is worthless.
Yes.
And inapplicable. Is worthless in law.
But the person has signed it into law.
No, that's what I said, that it is there only to give APC the opportunity to rig. That's what I said. So anybody that mentions the proviso,
yes,
whether in court or anywhere, the intention is to rig. I analyze it to you. And you even helped me by citing NCC.
Of course.
Oh,
thank you. All of this. Thank you, Kenneth. With all of this,
yes.
You said we shouldn't use inserted because nobody has seen the gazetted copy.
Sure.
Okay. So
and then it is provided for in the National Assembly. So you can't use the word inserted. So I use my words measurable.
Right, okay. No, so
there was an insertion in the tax law.
Yes.
They forged that one.
Yes.
So they ran away. But this one, I can't use the same language because nobody has seen it.
The gazetted copy.
The gazetted copy.
No.
And that reminds me. What are they waiting for? To bring out the gazetted copy.
Absolutely. German question.
That means it's possible they may want to insert. I'm not saying they inserted.
Yes. Now, more questions. Just to round up on this. With these attacks on the party, this shenanigans going on on the law and all of that, can the ADC, in all honesty, can the ADC, withstand? I mean, with what they are doing, with the so-called Nafi Ali Gombe, so-called faction, because there's no faction, to the best of my knowledge, in the ADC hierarchy, there's no faction. But with all of this, can the ADC, honestly, in the opinion of Barrister Kenneth, can the ADC survive this onslaught?
Capital yes.
What gives you that confidence?
Because ADC is the only opposition party, and we have done everything that we need to do in accordance with the law. Do you know what it means? That to the extent that even Professor Yakubu Mahmoud could not see anything that he will use to glitch our process of emerging. Do you think that if Mahmoud had seen anything that we've not done in accordance with the law, that time we were trying to register with INEC, when we do this, they would tell us, no, go back and redo it. We will go back and redo it. That was why we were unveiled in July 2nd. But it was in September 10th they recognized us as members in NWC. Put the name, but good.
On their website.
INEC will tell you, no, this is yet to be completed. We will go back and complete it and invite them, and we are monitoring all the process. So if Professor Yakubu, that is the glitcher, could not glitch the process of our being recognized by INEC, then you can imagine we went extra mile. Is it Josh and Mupita that we're thinking will be better?
Crossed all the I's.
All the I's, yes.
Dotted all the T's.
So if you see that anything happened to ADC, it's APC that doesn't want contest, and Nigerians will just know that they should do something to it.
The worry for me and for most Nigerians is that you spoke so passionately, like this, if not even more, about Labour Party.
Yes.
In 2022, 2023, so passionately, there's nothing anybody will do it. The Labour Party will stand, it will be this, it will be that. Sure. But Labour Party has become, history.
Good.
So what's different with the ADC?
Very good. What you said now is different. I was talking about winning election.
Okay.
I was not telling you Labour Party will stand forever. But I want Labour Party. They don't get their ass together, they'll become irrelevant. If you recall, everything I said about Labour Party happened in 2023. I told Nigeria is going to be Nigerian people versus APC, and it happened. Nobody won more states than us in Labour Party. We won 12 states, including the FCT. We won Lagos, Tinubu's home state. We won Nasarawa, the national chairman of APC state. We won Plateau, the DG of Tinubu's campaign state. They could not make 25% in FCT. We won that election, I still maintain, in my own opinion. And you saw what happened. What was that technical glitch if we didn't win? If we won all these key places. So everything I said, I stand by it, and it happened. For the first time, a party that didn't have governor, that didn't have members in National Assembly, performed that great, because the Nigerian people are the ones to decide who will govern them.